The only thing I was disappointed by with this movie was that I didn't learn how to actually catch fire. Hey everybody, this is David, and today I'm going to be talking about The Hunger Games: Catching Fire, the second film in the Hunger Games franchise. So, what did I think of this movie, guys? This is a movie that came out in 2014, November of 2014, and yeah, to me, well, let's get into it. What did I think of it? First of all, this cast is really, really great. They have grown on me by this film. You know, I really enjoyed them in the last film, but I think I enjoyed all of them even more in this film, especially Jennifer Lawrence, who really carries this movie. She is fantastic in it, and a lot of her scenes carry a lot of weight. It's amazing how really good she really holds up in this movie. Not only is she a beautiful woman, but Jennifer Lawrence is also an amazing actress, and this movie really proves it. I think there are so many moments where she really, goes all dramatic, and you feel it. You feel her fear, her anger, and she stands up and fights the good fight, and it's really amazing how an incredible talent she is at her age. I think Jennifer Lawrence is 24 or 25. So I mean that's amazing. I mean, there's a lot of actors who have been at that age and have really, grown into tremendous actors as they continue growing up. But you don't see too many around that age. And I mean, one that I could think of is Leonardo DiCaprio, right? He was an incredible talent when he was just a kid in What's Eating Gilbert Grape, right? And other movies that he's done afterwards. Jennifer Lawrence is definitely in that vein. And it will be interesting, 20 years down the line, to see where Jennifer Lawrence will be by that point in her career. Because by this point, I'm already curious to see what else she'll be doing. The rest of the cast is really good as well. We got, Josh Hutcherson returning as Peeta. And, this is the film that I actually liked him even more in than the previous film, because he's not as mopey as I feel anyways. He's not as mopey as he was in the first movie. I feel like Peeta is actually standing up for himself a little bit more in this one, and I like that they had to, carry on. The movie doesn't, the consequences from the first movie are still being carried through this film, and that's what's really cool about the story also, is that, it's showing that that little spark in the first film is getting bigger in this one, and the start of the rebellion is really getting into full gear here. And President Snow, played by Donald Sutherland, he is a fantastic villain, and I really enjoy him. Every scene he's in, there's a lot of weight there, because you can feel this guy is really ahead of everybody. He calls Katniss out. Look, I know you and Peeta are faking this relationship, and so don't lie to me, okay? Just fess up. And you think, how does he know? He has no proof or anything, but he does have proof, and it seems like he's always ahead of the game, and he knows what she's thinking. But clearly, there's a little good twist at the end that kind of proves otherwise. But I won't spoil too much. But hopefully by now you've all seen The Hunger Games: Catching Fire and the first one. But if you haven't, I'll try to avoid spoilers. But yes, this is I really like that story, that, the thing that it's continuing the story from the first film, where this rebellion is starting to take off, and we're witnessing the start of it, and that which will lead us into the last two films, Haymitch is definitely one of my favorite characters in this movie. I loved Woody Harrelson in the first movie as Haymitch, and I love him even more in this movie. And it wasn't quite clear to me that Haymitch was a previous player in the Hunger Games. It probably slipped my mind the first time around in the first film, but this movie made it more clear for me that Haymitch was a player in the Hunger Games, and it made more sense to me afterwards. And there was one point when, Effie was taking out the two, obviously Jennifer Lawrence or Katniss had to go and play again, but then because she was the only girl that I guess survived the Hunger Games, right? And then for the boys, we had Peeta and Haymitch, and so there were only two names to pick out of, and Haymitch's name was taken out of the bowl. And for a second, I would have liked to see how Haymitch would have played. I would have liked to see his Hunger Games. If Hollywood is if Lionsgate, who owns the rights to do the films, if they decide to go prequel, I would like to see a movie about Haymitch and how he survived the Hunger Games. I think that would be an interesting. I'd like to see what he had to go through and how he survived. I think that would be and the people he had to fight. Did he make any friends during that game or anything like that? I think that would be pretty cool. I wouldn't mind that. I'm gonna be honest about that. I don't know if Woody Harrelson would return or anything, or if you would have to go younger. It depends. I don't know how the books explain Haymitch's past, but yeah, that would be pretty sweet. Some of the new cast involved are really good. I really enjoy them all. I think all of it, especially that I don't remember her name now, but she was like a crazy. She was the girl. When they first meet her, she gets like naked in the elevator, and it's a great moment. I love this moment because like Peeta and Haymitch are like looking at her like, they're having a girl's getting naked right in front of them and dressing, like everything's all right in the world. And Jennifer Lawrence has this great look on her face, like, God, is this really happening? I loved it. I loved it. That was like one of my favorite scenes in the movie. I thought it was hilarious. There's a lot of great dramatic moments as well, and obviously, in my opinion, the games in this movie come a little late into the film, and I think it's like shorter. The games are shorter in this movie than they are in the first movie. I think the first movie had a lot more, like at least an hour worth of in the games. Well, this one feels more like maybe 40 minutes, half hour, 40 minutes maybe. And not that that's a bad thing, because everything that's going on in the movie is smoothing really well, and there's a really nice pace there. That's not to say the movie is perfect. There are some problems. For an example, we get Gale in this movie again, played by Liam Hemsworth, and his character feels once again, he feels sidelined, like an afterthought. Like, the writers don't know what to do with him because it's like the writers know that Katniss is going to end up with Peeta anyways. So it's like, who cares about this Gale fellow, And it kind of makes me feel sorry for the guy because, again, I mean, this is his girlfriend. He clearly loves her. He's not a bad guy or anything, but his character gets hardly any development or anything. So it's like he's a wasted character, and we're supposed to care about this relationship. I think we're supposed to care about it. I mean, I feel bad for him that, he's stuck there at work or being a slave, and he's having to have to watch his girlfriend make out with another guy and going around pretending they're married and all that. That kind of sucks, but, I mean, that's all I can say. I know Gale's role gets a little bit bigger in the third film, but again, in these first two films, there's not really anything there for us to root for Gale, and I think he becomes a wasted character in that sense. So, there's not too much that bothers me in this movie. I actually think this is the best Hunger Games movie to date. I think Catching Fire is the best so far of the three Hunger Games films. Remember, I haven't seen the fourth movie yet, guys, but we'll find out that later. But I am going to be giving the Hunger Games Catching Fire a 9 out of 10. I think this is a really solid film. The best of the Hunger Games franchise. Maybe. I have to see what I thought about the third film again. It's been a while since I saw that one. But, yeah, I mean, so far, at least comparing the first two movies to each other, Hunger Games Catching Fire is totally the best of the two. And in my opinion, I think it could be the best of the three as well. If I'm remembering the third film correctly, I think it's the best of the three. So, with that being said, guys, I mean, The Hunger Games, Catching Fire. You should watch it if you haven't seen it. If you're one of those people that, you know, you want to be a hippie, you want to be all cool, like, oh, everybody else is seeing the Hunger Games. I don't want to go check that out because everybody else likes it. Get out of here, okay? Go watch the Hunger Games. It's a good movie. Support good movies. Don't support bad movies. And believe me, you'll have a good time with it. This is not like your typical teen movie. It's definitely a movie for teens, but there's a lot there for, I think, everybody to enjoy, and I think that's why the movies are as successful as they are. So yeah, go check it out. You'll have a good time, guys. Until next time, take care.